big cat. Welcome to my therapy. This ain't your ordinary world, it's extraordinary. See, I'm a high priestess light, walk ahead and guide your way through the waves of life. We'll find a new path to embrace. Tarot, astrology, numerology in our hands. No weapon formed against you shall ever stand. We're winners, we never quit, we always keep on going. Quitters never win, but we're always growing. Hey there, big cat, let's chase the highest vibration. Together we'll create a new world, a brand new nation.
Namaste! Grand Rising, Big Cat. Welcome or welcome back to Frequency Phoenix 555 for your message or messages. Come in, come on. I've got intel. Recon is afoot. May your comings and goings be forever covered by the grace of the Most High. When in doubt, go within. Let's dive right in and unpack. You have the energy of an 8, darling dears. Good golly and gosh. All of the above, darling dears. Let's put it down carefully. The energy of the 8 is the number of, in astrology, it's the number of karma as well as debt. The energy of the 8th house, you could be a life path 8, darling dears, or the number 8, 17 or 26 will be prevalent in your life over the next few days. It's also ruled by the planet Saturn, which rules Capricorn and Aquarius, as well as the chakra scales of the 396 and the letters P and F. So the number 8 is HQZ and Saturn is P and F. It's about your responsibilities, darling dears. The energy of the 8 tells me that you are a high achiever. All of the above, power and materialism is your forte. It's about you going bold. Or going home. Nobody wants to go home to back where you was. Oh no, pet cemetery and all that. The energy of the 8, darling dears, is telling me that you've always been challenged and tested. Why? Why, you ask? Because you are the black sheep, darling dears, the chosen, the one to break generational curses. And let me tell you something, this feat will not be easy. Your life will always be challenged, but there's always room for growth, darling dears. And for you to get out there and give your testimony, you don't know whom your message is going to touch or reach. So yeah, you're the CEO of everything here. It speaks about accomplishment, being masterful in all that you do, darling dears. Your luckiest days will be 2, 4, and 8. Your luckiest luckiest numbers 2, 4, and 8. Luckiest days Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's about your ambitions, darling dears. It tells me that you are more mature. It also speaks about all your material needs will be satisfied. Okay, whatever they are for you, because everybody's paradigm is different. You are in the process of, or are in line for giving and receiving. The energy of the 8 also is a highly researchful number, darling dears. It speaks of the maturity you've acquired, but the struggle and delay that you've also experienced. Okay? The energy of Saturn, darling dears. Lean in, bestie. Lean in. Saturn is about, as I said, your ambition. It's also very solitary, darling dears. Yes, you've recognized many limitations, but it was for you, as the black sheep, darling dears, to overcome by any means necessary, but within your integrity, darling dears. The energy of Saturn also speaks about secrets. A lot of family secrets, personal secrets, or secrets that you'll never tell another. Some of you went through many, many punishing times. Saturn rules your knees. It will come in case think. Your knees, your skin, your bone, your teeth, and your ears, okay? You may have had issues in these areas, darling dears. It speaks about the obligation you once felt, darling dears. It's the releasing of said obligation, and whatever you are doing right now will set you up for your old age. But you are still going to be tested. Why? The baddest of them all must always be tested to find out your integrity, to find out if you're sharing your testimonies, darling dears. Being able to uplift another big cat, because you are that big cat survival kit. Fist bump. So it's like, I don't know, you are on your path to of what? The Big Cat Chronicles, as it continues. So now you can call yourself what? World Boss. Big Cat Wave. Yeah, because you are the master of your paradigm, darling dears. Everyone else is a walk-on, an NPC. Some NPCs have been given too much freedom in your life, darling dears, and they're taking a shit. It's gone past the piss, darling dears. Taking a shit. Okay. According to the low shoe grid, we've got the northeasterly direction, either something coming from it or going towards it. It's also air energy, so there's a lot of thinking, communication. Okay. The energy of the 8, it speaks about your wisdom, darling dears. As I said, you've acquired it with Saturn because of the tests, the tribulations you had to go through. It also speaks about your self-actualization, your self-knowledge. Yeah, on fleek, darling dears, on fleek. Your luckiest days or dates for you will be late winter. Something is going to be occurring in the late winter. Your power colors at the moment are blue and green. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Let's move on. So the energy of the 6, darling dears, it speaks about visiting doctors, medical centers. Maybe you're doing some form of beautification, or it's for your actual health. The energy of the 6 is the 6th house, which deals with your health, your daily routines. It can also mention physical sickness or sickness that you are overcoming. Energy of the 8, darling dears. Someone's also going to be looking at their diet, changing their diet plans. Okay. Somebody's also being affected, their health is being affected by the climate that they're actually living in, okay? The energy of the 6th house is also about being an employee, darling. Or somebody's possibly volunteering or doing some form of caretaking, hence the energy of the 6, doctor's visits. Right. You also have the energy of the 2, darling dears. The energy of the 2 is about it being an extremely lucky period for you. You're going to be getting lots of good news, and you'll be getting gifts in the form of compliments, darling dears. People, helpful people turning up to point you on your way, darling dears. For some, this could also mean a possible win of money. Travel is most definitely indicated, darling dears, and it's going to go extremely well. If you've got any form of business partnerships, that is going to be extremely positive. Business can be the signing of a contract, making of a new agreement, darling dears. But it speaks about you on a whole, darling dears. You've been broadening your horizons. The 8th house is a very spiritual house. Yes, it does mean karma for those that have not been doing very well, darling dears. People that are what? Bottoms of the pit, darling dears. After all, we are in Pluto retrograding in Capricorn at this moment in time. It'll be going direct in Capricorn around the 11th of October. Okay, but a lot of principalities, things that were in place for a very, 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 very long time, darling dears, are going down. Bobby Brown. All right. The energy of the 8th house also tells me that you have some kind of learning of the occult. That could be astrology, numerology, tarot, or whatever form it's taken for you, darling dears. Somebody's also going to be receiving some kind of inheritance. An inheritance, it could be a spiritual inheritance, darling dears. A realization, self-actualization. It could also represent something from your taxes, some form of insurance. 8th house can also represent the end of things, like retirement, darling dears. The 8th house is the house of joint finances. It was known as the marriage house, or is known as the marriage house. Okay. The 8th house is all about the taboo, darling dears, but it also speaks about wounds that have been coming up for what? Regeneration, darling dears. You have to face your darkest times, your shadow self, in order to overcome. I'm also saw pallbearer. Somebody's going to be attending a funeral in the not too distant future. Okay. Somebody's also going to be experiencing some form of losses, possibly through bankruptcy. I'm hearing something about child support, alimony. Listen, all of this is going to be flowing towards you because everything is in the upright, darling dears, coming towards you. The 8th house at its worst can speak about grape, darling dears. Someone uncovering a secret about grape. Okay. All right. But the 8th house also speaks about surgeries. As I said, somebody could be beautifying himself. Surgery could also represent an injection. Okay. But it's about you evolving. Somebody is going to be getting the realization that they have an STI and this is not curable. Oh, I'm so sorry to tell you this. Okay. This is why I keep telling you, no glove, no love. Better yet, put up your good things. This is what we say in Jamaica. When something is really good that you love, darling dears, you put it up away from the marauders. Yeah, put up your what? Your genitalias, darling dears. Someone's at the door. Excuse them whilst it will play. Yes, as I was saying, darling dears, the energy of the 8 is also representative of the runestone, the star card, darling dears, Wunjo. So it's about fellowship, it's about pleasure, but it also speaks about support, darling dears. Someone coming in to support you. It could be in the form of business, because the star card also representative of a female on the card. So I think it's some kind of female coming in to support whatever you've got going on. It could be support of a business. It could be mental support, because the star card is also about healing, darling dears. Getting past traumas, facing what needed to be faced. Okay. The star card also has the body parts of the ankles, the shins, and your circulatory system. Okay. This is about your health is about to improve, darling dears. All of the health that I just brought up is about to improve. For some, this is going to create, as I said, bring in a caring partner. For some, it will be someone supporting you. Otherwise, it will be a benefactor, darling dears. But it's definitely a woman. Okay. This is going to create a lot of jealousy from the feeble-minded that have been left behind. Yeah, the pet cemetery. Let me turn down the music a little bit. Sorry, darling dears. Yeah, people that's been left behind, they're gonna be jealous, jelly bogelly, darling dears. Okay. If this is involving a relationship, darling dears, it's about you healing properly, right? After this difficult period that you had to overcome, heal properly from it, darling dears. Okay, because you have to be in a position of trust, not being trusting like you're naive, darling dears, but trusting in yourself to always make the right decisions for you. But it's also asking you with the energy of the star card to keep your heart open to new possibilities and creative expressions, darling dears, because the star card for some could also represent stepping into fame. We've got the element of a 9 on top, darling dears. 9 speaks about fate is involved in this, darling dears. So it's another level that you're going to, one with a more complete understanding, because it involved you understanding the occult, darling dears, astrology, numerology, tarot, or whatever method you've been using. It called for you to do that in order to ascend. Okay, the energy of the 9, darling dears, it speaks of you being in what? Tip-top manifestation mode. Hence the 8, darling dears, the CEO. What did I say the CEO was? World boss. Yeah, big cat wave. You are the world boss of your paradigm, darling dears. Remember, everyone else is an NPC until you give them too much freedom in your life. Yeah, to go straight after your hairline, darling dears. Coming through with a quick reverse friar tuck for you. Okay. The energy of the 8, darling dears, is also representative of the 8th law of power, darling dears. Make people come to you. Make them come to you, darling dears. You run down no one. Okay? Remember, you are the prize in every situation and circumstance. Never you ever think less of yourself. It also encumbers the number 16 of the 48 laws of power, right? This is about you raising your value with your absence. Give them your back, darling dears. Give them your back. Yeah, if you're not appreciated in front of them, give them your back. Matthew 10:14. Dust off your sandals and head out. Tinky winky styly, darling dears. Tinky winky styly. Okay. You've got a 5 and a 3, so you've got 8 on the side as well, darling dears. Good golly and gosh. 2 8s on the tableau, darling dears. What are the chances? It's telling me that you're going to be given or gifted opportunities to create Skrilla.com. That's money, the folding stuff. Here and now, in the present, darling dears. But it's about you continue to stay focused on what's important to your biggest vision. Okay? And remember, your biggest vision, you tell no one but Jesus. No one but God, darling dears. You tell no one nothing. Even when you're trying to inquire and gather more information, you know, you don't have to give people your final plan. That's for you and the Most High, the universe, darling dears. We've got the energy of the 3. It speaks about gossip and slanderation in your name, darling dears. Someone is slandering you. Why? Because it's always the people on the outside that are getting their nerves racked, well and truly racked. Because they're about to witness you, darling dears. Change your mildew into barbecue. Remember, I told you that. Okay? Okay. Yeah, people on the outside always see when your path is about to change. Why? They're part of the watchers, darling dears, the fan club. They can't help it. They're a captivated audience that never like, never comment, but they're watching. Oh, are they watching? Sputnik is their name, and Spain is their game. Let's carry on. Let's carry on. Let's get an oracle ancestral message, and then press on at a hot trot. Okay, just making sure, because I've changed around the office. I'm looking to see where everything is. I've been looking, but you know, you look but you don't look. Yeah, well, I'm really looking now. Look, the elastic band broke. Anytime it breaks, a cycle has been overcome. Something has been circumvented. Well, not necessarily circumvented, darling dears. It's an obstacle, a principality, something that was keeping you stuck, something to do with your wounds. Okay. This is your rebirth, darling. This is your rebirth. Remember, I told you that. I'm going to get the 2 cards on top. I got this one. Oh, there's 3. There's 4. Good golly and gosh. What did I tell you about the chakra healing? Didn't I just tell you that? The 3, 6, and 9. Play it at night time, darling dears, while you're sleeping, so it goes into your subconscious mind. The 3, 6, 9. The oh my goodness gracious me. Come on, case. Back to reality. The 3, 6, 9, the Saturn energy, darling dears, is the root chakra. It's the basis of everything. It's about your fight, flight, or freeze. It's about how you secure yourself, how you build a stable foundation, right? It's in the upright. So, yeah, you're feeling more grounded, and as I said, you are in manifestation mode. You are definitely being supported at this moment in time. 100%, darling dears. The High Priest of Atlantis. Okay, you've also got the Intuitive Awakening, the High Priestess, darling dears. Know this, you have a fated meeting coming towards you. Whether it's for business, a friendship, or a love interest, darling dears. This is a fated meeting coming towards you. Why? Because you are in the stage of what? Emotional healing. We've got the sacral chakra, darling dears. The sacral chakra is about your emotions. It's about your relationships. But it also speaks about your self-worth, darling dears, and you utilizing your creativities, your passions, following your passions. Because if you follow your passions, darling dears, it won't feel like a job, and it will flow easily. Definite healing. But we've also got what? The King of Neptune. The King Neptune, or I said the King of Neptune, but then again, it's the 12th house, darling dears. It's your connection to the unseen world, your intuition, your sensitivities, your empathetic nature. The subconscious mind, darling dears, your hidden self. It's about you relieving yourself from some form of hidden patterns of the past. Okay? Some of the things that you was going through, darling dears, it bordered on mental illness. Why? Because you was up for it, darling dears, to be a thumber. Yeah, listen, I am not picking at you, darling dears. I'm a pointer. I told you. I was what? Living in what? Wickedness until I was 50. That's 50. Imagine how many years that was, darling dears. Until I realized that I am more than a conqueror. Until I looked into my children's eyes and saw the pain that they was going through because of the dysfunctional situations I'd chosen for myself. And you can't be upset about anything you chose in the past, darling dears, because you are the culmination of your choices. But it's whether you're going to live in that and stay down, or if you're going to be what? Fall down 7 times, get up 8, darling dears. Get up 8. Especially if you fall down, make sure that you fall on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. Come through, Les Brown. Posh, clap. Yeah, your sensitivity, darling dears. Neptune also tells me about some kind of secrets. It could be a family secret, or someone trying to keep a secret from you within a family environment. Okay, the 12th house also represents government offices, FBI, prisons, hospitals, private investigators, as well as fraud, darling dears. Okay, I'm just chucking it all out there. Please align it with what is relevant to you. Okay, somebody's been through a lot of grief as well. 12th house, a lot of grief, but the grief was part of your awakening. Definitely some form of unresolved family issue is being bandied around. Okay, but you've already healed from that, darling dears. There's no going back, blood. Right? You're the bravest of them all. Right? Better to be brave and courageous, darling dears, rather than scared and a thumber. Nobody wants to be a thumber, darling dears. No one. Behind her, she has I would say this looks like, it looks like a waxing gibbonous moon, darling dears. It's a time for your refinement and fine-tuning your skills, darling dears. The skills that are gifted you through the 8th house. Okay, as I said, it's an occult house. There's a lot of knowledge that you've acquired, right? This is about you reflecting on the progress that you've made so far. But it's also realizing that you may have to make some further adjustments. Okay, remember, you're always being tested. All right, to the decks. All right. Oh, we had the gossiping bad news bears at the background. Let's go with this deck. 2 decks together. The gossipers, the slanderers. Yeah, the scum between your toes. Looking at your progress. Didn't I say they're going to start getting angry, darling dears? Yeah, a rumble in their jungle. But guess what? In your jungle, big cat, your jungle, the big cat sleeps at night. In your village, your peaceful village, the big cat sleeps at night. Remember, I told you that. So they right? Someone who was once a thief of your everything, darling dears. This could be one person. It could be many people, from the rooter to the tutor, darling dears. What? Somebody's doing proper spying, darling dears. That's focus spying. That's time aside, put aside in their day to spy, darling dears. Jealous of your peace and abundance. What did I just tell you? Energy of the 8th house. You are the CEO, right? They want to bring you down, Bobby Brown, by the arguments, trying to drag you back to something that you've already overcome. They're called Sputnik, right? A hater, a spy, an analyst, a stalker with the children of the corn eye. The thieves of your everything, watching your progress, darling dears. Okay, let's go to the other deck. Tell me something more. You are Ibex, darling dears. Ibex, you be prototype of your lineage. Ibex, listen, go and watch a video about the Ibex, darling dears. They run across sheer-faced mountains, darling dears, and cliffs, right? Clinging on by their hooves, right? They have to, when they're young, they have to learn to climb to the top, darling dears, so they can get the nutrients that they need. So they have to learn, and their hoofs are adapted. But if there's a crack, they don't fall back, darling dears. I see them running along the wall. This is what you are. Progress, darling dears. Yeah, look. Towards abundance. Again, the energy of the 8th house, darling dears. It could be a debt being repaid, darling dears. And not every debt that is repaid to you is repaid by people in the physical. Some are coming from your ancestral team, especially for things that you've overcome, right? Yeah, someone's going downhill. What did I just tell you? Yeah, energy of the 12th house, Neptune energy, darling dears. It speaks about prison. It speaks about being investigated for fraud. It speaks about wanting to unalive themselves to not face consequences. Yes, yes. And for some, it also speaks about an assassination in order to keep a secret within a family circle, darling dears. Yes. The 12th house is also the house of what? Escapism, alcohol, drugs, food, whatever it is. The sex, whatever it is, darling dears. No matter how they try to hide from this circumstance or situation, there's only so many times you can do the darling dears, until you have to come back to reality. Trying to hide. They're living under self-deception, darling dears. Yeah. The underpinning of a feeble-minded simpleton. Yeah, from the backwoods with yarn for hair. Full-on tree sloth mode. Okay. Let's press on. Let's get a deck. Face of the deck, darling dears. Yeah, you're leaving someone out in the cold. It could also represent you, darling dears, feeling left out in the cold. Leaving a situations full of what? Health issues, blood. I just told you where they were, right? Health issues, financial issues, darling dears. It talks about a lack of stability in your home life. You may even have had to leave a situation or but have been left in a situation with progenies, darling dears. Whoever the partner is, whether it's male or female, they still wanted your child to be in baby shoes. You know them firstborn shoes? Yeah, them soft shoes, darling dears. That's what they wanted. The 5 of Pentacles, darling dears, definitely leaving someone or something behind. It also speaks about the insecurity. Yeah, I already said the bad health, but this person loved to argue. Personal people love to argue, especially behind your back. Didn't I tell you they are Sputnik? Didn't I tell you they are analysts of your stuff, darling dear? Something that they can put out there into the universe. No loyalty around these people or person. Remember I told you that, okay? You went through a period of struggle, darling dears, and it also speaks about the lack of support you had within that struggle. But sometimes when you're going through the struggle, it's okay to reach out and ask for help. It doesn't have to be from the people that are trying to do this isolation, this left aloneness that they wanted you in, darling dears. But you can ask for help. Because I'm telling you, you got big things going on for you, darling dears. I told you, world boss, big cat wave. All right. Let's give it a good look, see? See what else is going on. I just heard 2. I'm just going to give it one more shot there. Current energy around the big cat. World boss. Big cat wave. Yeah. What's going on? Thank you. Yeah, making the right investments, darling. There's 7 of Pentacles in the upright, about to reap what you sowed. I love it. I don't hate it. It tells me about the loyalty that you carry, darling. You're an extremely loyal person. Somebody's about to get some kind of reward or an award, darling dears. It speaks about the time that you've invested into something that has grown. This can also represent you waiting on the right partner, somebody with serious intentions. And the right partner could also represent, as I said, it could be a lover, it could be a friend, and it could be a business associate. Okay. Yeah, 100%, darling dears. Feeling more stable. You put so much energy into this project, darling dears. You will see the results of the efforts that you've made. Spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally. It's all going to pay off. But you have to continue to what? Be patient. Be patient. But while you're being patient, do your due diligence, darling. Just continue with what you've been doing. Don't stop. Not for nothing or no one. Remember Lot's wife, Salt Bay. Oh, 6 of Pentacles. The wounding. Oh my God. Yeah. You gave a lot to a situation, darling dears. You also have the element of what? Libra. Libra is the 2nd house, darling dears. Can you see it by the scales? Okay. The 2nd house is the one-to-one relationships. It's also the house of the marriage house. It's about you making something. Somebody's going to be making a contract, darling dears. As I said, the person that I saw is a female. But this is money coming towards you. Money being paid towards you, darling dears. Something that involves your spirituality. This is the wounded warrior. 9 of Swords in the upright, I might add. It speaks about the persistence, darling dears, but it also reminds you to what? Be vigilant. Okay, be vigilant. Somebody's also there was a separation before the ending of a situation, darling dears. Whether it was a friend, a lover, business partnership, there was a separation. Okay. Okay. This card is to remind you to what? Persevere, darling dears. It's for you to continue to remain resilient. Keep going, darling dears. Keep going. Why? Because the bad news bears have turned up. 5 of Cups. Yeah, emotional turmoil. Sorry, did I say 5? Didn't Freudian slip meant to come out. 5 of Cups, darling dears, in the upright. Lean in, bestie. Lean in. The 5 of Cups is about learning some kind of a lesson, darling dears. Okay, learning a lesson from a situation. It's about you releasing said situation, darling dears, because it also represents the ending of some form of relationship. But it also speaks about somebody going through a level of despair. They're going through some kind of regret. Okay. They're not focused on beginning their own healing process, this person or people. The 8 of Cups in the reverse, as I now correct myself, because there's no one to check me, boo. Right? Lean in, bestie. Lean in. Again, the separation is most definitely affecting this person or people. Okay? They suffer from that syndrome of low self-esteem, darling dears. It also speaks about a bit of clinginess around them, possibly clinging onto your coattails as you rode to your ascension of being the baddest of them all. Didn't I just say? World boss. Big cat wave. Hey, hey. Get this card up. Yeah. As I was saying, darling dears, before I interrupted myself. 8 of Cups on its forehead. All right. Oh, sorry, I thought that was my daughter coming in. Okay. It speaks about somebody going through a level of sadness. They're going through some form of loss, darling. There's well emotional loss, especially if you was their strength. Their rock of Gibraltar. Well, you ain't that rock of ages anymore. You've rocked off. right? Why? Because I was it a rolling stone, gather stone moss, blood? And you are that moss, not gathering the stone. Yeah. All right. That's what? Yeah. Okay then. Skip that last thing. Let's press on, darling dears. Let's press on. Anyhow, it speaks about a disillusionment of a situation. Definitely the lacking the strength, darling dears. Lacking the strength, and it also speaks about the letting go of toxic relationships. Okay, the breaking of the elastic band. You've released yourself. It can also represent with the 9 of Wands, cutting of a soul tie, darling dears, and you had to cut many of them soul ties. But this is a season where you're being poured into. Remember, I told you that. Base of the deck, World card, and it again shows Sputnik, watching everything you do. It also represents some form of world travel coming for you, darling dears. Coming towards you. Maybe you will be, or someone's going to be traveling to you. It's about having this new beginning. The World card is Earth and oh my gosh, it's Earth and Saturn energy, darling dears. Okay, someone is definitely going to be going on some form of journey, darling dears. It's going to be a long journey after the culmination of the works they've been doing up to this point. It's some kind of release. It could be a vacation or a holiday. Okay. You've reached completion of a cycle, darling dears. You've got a new level of knowledge. Divine is gifting you with this fresh start. And if you have the opportunity to travel, do it. Because again, the 8th house, the funds will be provided for you, darling dears. Ask and it shall be given. Knock and it shall be opened. You've reached a major milestone in your life, darling dears. And this is most definitely a new phase for you. If it's a relationship, darling dears, it's going to be the beginning stages of a relationship. The time where you find out everything, blood. When I say every what? Everything. Point A and point B, guys. Lest you be drawn back into dummy bat territory. Law number 10. No, that is very bad. You don't want none of that smoke. Remember what I told you? Yeah. Definitely ending a situation. As I said, there's spying. You're being watched at this moment in time. People filled with grief, missed opportunity, everything, darling. There's all of the above. Yeah, look, death card, unable to move on, darling dears. And again, it's on the energy of the 8. Good golly and the gosh, darling dears. Good golly and the gosh. All right. So death card is Scorpio energy, darling dears. In the reverse, somebody's, yeah, if they've gone on to other relationships or was in a relationship, it was a friendship, whatever, they're in a toxic relationship. Remember, I told you that, darling dears. It also speaks about someone going through some form of serious illness. So as I said, the energy of the 6, it could be the weather affecting their health, darling dears, the climate. Maybe they need to move straight to hell, darling dears. Go straight there. Maybe the weather will be better for you there, darling dears. You'll have other things to think about besides your health. Yeah. Anyhow, as I was saying, it speaks about, because with the death card on its face, darling dears, it speaks about, it also mentions, death card in reverse speaks about a sudden transition. As I said, somebody passing away, and it could be by their own hand, darling dears, to avoid some form of consequence. Remember, I told you that. All right. Okay. But this person needs to face the fact that whatever circumstance and situation you was in, right, it's over. There's no going back. You learn to pour into yourself, darling dears. You learn to be your own fan club, right? You learn that this progress had to start from within, right? How do you do that? Conceive, believe, and achieve, bestie. Conceive, believe, and achieve. Remember, world boss, big cat wave. Yeah. This one won't come off the table. Look. Can you stand any more Skrilla, darling dears? Skrilla.com. The folding stuff, the dosh, the wonga, the monet. 8 of Pentacles. It also speaks about some form of achievement. It could speak of an award. You are going to be seen or be seen as a master craftsperson in your field, darling dears. For others, it shows that you are committed to this new direction, and this new direction is raising the bar. Some of you are working with your hands, or you utilize your hands within your work, okay? Somebody's gone into higher learning. You shall achieve, darling. There's awards, accolades, okay? The Eight of Pentacles in the upright also speaks about whatever you're leaving behind, darling dears. It was a marriage, a friendship, a business partnership of their convenience. So nothing lost, darling dears. Nothing lost. You had to create a halocene between you. That's different salt levels. Okay. All right. It's about you. It's about you realizing that your efforts are about to pay off in a big way, darling dears. This is about you continuing to build on your skills, and you will always continue to improve. Continue with your dedication, your attention to detail, and continue most of all, being you, the wounded warrior. You tried to be other people, blood, but other people were taken, and they were effed up and full of dysfunction. Now you've what? Fallen into being yourself. Nothing wrong with being yourself, darling dears. Nothing wrong with that. On the table again. What's this? Yeah. This is you assessing, darling dears, seeing the progress that you've made. And again, it's been spiritually guided. No longer holding on to the toxic, temporary short stick. This is about you moving forward. And again, the world card speaks about world travel coming your way, darling dears. And again, I told you, you will have helping hands along the way. Somebody's also going to be traveling for business. Remember, I told you that. Everything is shining in your way, darling dears. Two of Swords. Because of the decision that you made. You had to rip off that blindfold and crush it under your heel of common sense. Your flip-flops, darling dears. Your flip-flops. Okay. You made lots of head over heart decisions, and it broke your heart sometimes, but that breakage had to be. Why? Because it was creating blockages in your life. Many of the things that happened to you, darling dears, you was always blindsided because you didn't believe people could go so low. Listen, you wasn't looking low enough, darling dears. Fist bump. World boss. Big cat wave. Anyhow. You wasn't looking low enough. I told you they come straight from the crevice of the devil's balls. Yeah, the most diligent worker, darling dears, a shepherd of the devil. What did I just say? Toxic relationship, whatever it was, that situation is over. We've got 2 twos in juxtapose on the tableau, darling dears. Definitely meaning what? A parting of the ways. Skeet, skeet. I can't make it up. 6 of Swords. Somebody's traveling for business. It could be for pleasure, and it could also speak about a full-on move, darling dears. A move on your GPS. Yeah, King of Swords. Somebody's looking at the details, the finer print of it. King of Swords also speaks about you moving in silence. Silencio. Tell only the Most High. No one else, darling dears. You've also got some kind of good news coming towards you. If this is not your progeny, darling dears. Even if it is the progeny, you have good news coming towards you. Yes, the message is definitely going to be unexpected. Okay. But it's about you continuing to what? Trust your vision, darling dears, because you're on a journey of discovery. Yeah. Look at this. People try to keep you in the dark, not telling you the truth, always telling lies, falsehoods, no true clarity. And it also sold down, no boundaries in place, darling dears. Listen, you was blowing in the wind, darling dears, blowing in the wind. Hey! You was. 9 of Pentacles, listening to your bird, your higher mind, darling dears. The 9 of Peace soon runs up to what? The Queen, and then the Empress, darling dears. This is you knowing your worth. 9 of Pentacles is also a reminder to what? AvoidDrama.com. Leave those naysayers and those bottom-feeding troglodytes to whatever they've got going on, darling dears. You haven't got no time for that. Remember, they flew too fast past their nest. Being in alignment mentally, emotionally, spiritually. If you have a family, everybody's happy, darling dears, with the person that you've become, the one you was always meant to be. You've also got judgment on at your back, darling dears. Yeah, of course they want to come back through, right? But remember, they gave you drapetomania. The overwhelming urge to run away, darling dears. They gave you misophonia, right? You couldn't bear to see them eating, right? Or drinking in front of you. And don't forget our old favorite, pisanthropia. Pisanthropia, where you can trust no one. Everyone gets investigated, especially if it's a new friend and they come along and they've got a baby. Investigate the baby first, blood. What do you mean? And everyone gets investigated. No time to be tricked. You're in the 8th house, darling dears. No time for that. Especially if it's a past lover. All they want to do is come through and shoplift some pum-pum or fatun from you. You better put up your good. Put it up. Like I told you in Jamaica, that's what we do with our good things. We put them up, put them away. Put it away. Yeah? You have offers coming towards you, but it's also someone who's extremely charming, darling dears. Chariot. Yeah, this person's coming in very quickly. Chariot energy, darling dears. But you've already released this burden. Why would you take it on again? Wheel of Fortune. It's your time, darling dears. The Wheel of Fortune is about the cycles of life, darling dears. It's Jupiter energy, so luck. It also speaks about you expanding your horizons, possibly learning a new language. Learning about new cultures. It's the expansion of travel, darling dears. Somebody's also learned astrology, so this could be the occult element that of the 8th house that you've learned. Okay. The 9th house is also about, what am I talking about? The 9th house, it came out, darling dears, Freudian slip. The 9th house, oh, because of Jupiter energy, darling dears, the traveling. I did know what I was talking about. Really, I did. You're going to be put in a position where you was once the student, you are now going to become the teacher. It also speaks about higher education, darling dear, sticking to your ethics and your morals. Definitely going on a long journey, foreign countries, foreign lands. I told you about the languages, okay? It also speaks about something online, you publishing something online, darling dears, which is going to go fabulous, gorgeous and well for you, okay? For some, you're going to appear as a prophet to them, darling dears, only because of your testimony, what you've been through, okay? All right. Definitely traveling over water, darling dears, and something to do with a will. Okay, let's get a final card, then we're out of here. To get great. I'm going to go with the Moonology cards. Sorry, did I give you a bit of vertigo then? Excusez-moi, s'il vous plaît. They fell off at the back end and I wasn't ready. Thank you. It's time for action, darling dears. We've got Aries energy. Aries is Mars energy, darling dears. Number 1, it's about you protecting. Number 2, Mars energy speaks about war. People will try to start fires in your life, darling dears. Mars also rules accidents. Be careful of accidents, especially around firearms. Remember, I told you that, okay? Be very careful of accidents around firearms, okay? But this is your your outward appearance, darling dears. Your behaviors have changed. You're working on your health. You're building for yourself. And as I said, for some, it's a physical change. Hence the doctor's visits, darling dears. But you may not have been going to the doctor just for that, right? Bring love into the situation. New moon in Aquarius, darling dears. I told you, somebody coming in. This is a fated meeting with a friend, lover, business partner. The energy of Aquarius also speaks about whatever you're doing, darling dears. It's being noticed by many. The energy of Aquarius rules your older siblings. Okay, it rules your older siblings, it rules your social groups, memberships. It's about your hopes and dreams, darling dears. It speaks about how comfortable you find yourself, how comfortable you find yourself to be in different groups, darling dears, and situations. Whether you belong to these situations or not, darling dears. For some, this means I'm a fan club. Fans, supporters, wherever. People looking your way. People noticing you. The energy of the 11th house also rules mentors, benefactors. Remember, I told you that. It's also a warning against any form of flattery, darling dears. Yeah, flattery is for the feeble-minded, darling dears. You know what your worth is. You already know. Okay, the 11th house is about technology. You could be doing something on technology against, hence the online, doing something online, publishing something, darling dears. You're about to be making new business contacts and contracts. Remember, I told you that. The 11th house is also money that's being paid to you, whether it's from an employer, a business, whatever. But money coming towards you, money from employers. Yeah. Something you're doing, darling dears, is going to reform the way a lot of people think. And it's about the awakening of everyone. Whoever was your thief of everything, darling dears, they're going to get a front seat to watch your progress. They're always going to be a hater, darling dears. Always. They will never stop. I told you, they're proper spying. Alright? You have abundance going on. And they're going down Bobby Brown, but that's none of your business. Never interrupt someone who's going through their karma. Pardon me, that was a spiritual belch because I speaks the truth. Ruth, pinkies up. Never you forget that you are Ibex, darling dears. You are covered by the high priest, high priestess of Avalon, the high priest of Atlantis, darling dears, Mother Mary, emotional healing, and King Neptune, darling dears. Understanding your subconscious patterns. And this is the season where people will be putting down many addictive behaviors. Anyway, on that note, I drops me mic. Thank you very much for your continued support of me in this channel. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Share these messages or massages with whomsoever you feel needs it. And don't forget your comment. The most important thing, a survival kit for another big cat. And as I always say, don't get smoked. And don't smoke yourself. From the ashes, baby. Namaste. Never forget, big cat. You are what? World boss. Big cat wave.